Uganda has ordered a nationwide internet shutdown just 2 days before voters head to the polls, a move human rights groups say threatens access to information and undermines the transparency of the electoral process. The directive from the Uganda Communications Commission comes amid heightened security measures as Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni seeks to extend his more than four-decade rule. The shutdown coincides with reports of arrests of opposition supporters and an expanded military presence across the country, developments that rights advocates warn violate freedom of expression, assembly, and the right to participate in public affairs without intimidation.
Effective 6 p.m. Tuesday, January 13th, 2025, just 2 days to the Uganda general election, the Uganda Communications Commission ordered all licensed mobile network operators and related service providers in the country to suspend public internet access and outbound data roaming services to one network area countries. The regulator has blocked access to social media platforms, web browsing, video streaming, personal emails, and messaging apps. The suspension applies to mobile broadband, fiber optic, and satellite internet services, among others, leaving most citizens cut off from online communication. The government has also suspended the sale and registration of new SIM cards. SIM swaps and SIM upgrades will, however, be allowed within existing regulations. Operators have also been instructed to disable mobile virtual private networks on their networks. Uganda Communications Commission Executive Director Nyombi Tembo stated that the move is aimed at safeguarding national security and maintaining public order during the electoral process by mitigating the spread of misinformation and electoral fraud. Several entities were, however, excluded from the directive. Authorized personnel will be allowed to access the internet during the voting period through a secure whitelisted mechanism. These include essential public services such as healthcare, financial services, administrative services, transportation, and aviation control systems. The internet shutdown, which remains in place until further notice, comes amid reports of arrests of opposition supporters and human rights activists in the midst of a heightened military presence across the country. As Uganda prepares to head to the polls, rights activists are raising alarm over the state of the country's general election.
People power. People power. Hi.
At a joint press conference in Nairobi, the Africans for Africa Solidarity Movement accused President Yoweri Museveni's government of systematically suppressing political dissent, saying the vote is taking place under intimidation and coercion. Among those speaking were Kenyan activists Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, who were abducted while attending an opposition rally in Uganda in the year 2025 and held for 38 days without due process. They have since filed a petition against the Ugandan government, arguing their detention reflects a rapidly shrinking democratic space ahead of the polls.
Ideally, elections are supposed to be held in an environment that is conducive to a free, fair, credible, transparent, verifiable, accountable election so that the sovereign will of the people can be exercised. The Electoral Commission, led by Justice Simon Mugenyi Byabakama, has managed the affairs of the Commission in a manner that strongly suggests that he is a puppet of the ruling elite.
The progress of Uganda has been stifled by systematic corruption, has been stifled by suppression of human rights in Uganda, as my colleagues had already said. There is no freedom simply because he has had to do with limits or do with things that will keep him in power for all this time.
Their claims mirror warnings from the United Nations Human Rights Office, which says the election is unfolding in an atmosphere of repression with arrests, harassment, and restrictions on civil society. President Museveni, now 81, has ruled Uganda since 1986 and is seeking to extend his time in power in a rematch against opposition leader Bobi Wine. With a predominantly young population watching closely, Critics say the coming vote will be a defining test for democracy in the East African nation.
People power.
Our power.
Lillian Muli, Citizen TV.
Our power.